Welcome to Career and Strategy, a podcast for startup business owners. Today, as we finalize our strategic planning series, as a recap, we have started with defining, unpacking what strategy is, why businesses formulate strategy so that you understand why we're doing this. So we started from the formulation of vision, missions, we've done the objectives, we've done the values, the business guiding principles. We did the market analysis where we analyzed the external environment and internal environment in which your business operates in and how it affects your business. And now that we have all that information and we also have the targets, the performance targets and everything, as a business leader, it's now to execute. We don't plan to just put things away to collect dust. You don't just have a business plan so that it can just be there on the shelf. You have to execute. So even with strategy, the same applies. If you want to achieve the goals that you've set, the vision, if you want to accomplish the vision that you have outlined, you have to execute. So today we're focusing on strategy execution, what it will take for your strategy, the strategy that you've developed to be successful. The key thing that most business leaders tend to neglect in the strategic planning process is resource and capability analysis, which is about analyzing whether the organization has the capacity to execute the planned strategy. It is one thing to plan, it is another to execute. Most businesses fail not because their strategies were flawed, but because of lack of execution and negligence of the stage of being true to self to assess if they really can achieve what they set forth. In entrepreneurship class, they taught us that business is a resource, and the success lies in how you manage those resources, if you have them to begin with. And because today we are focused on analyzing the resources and capabilities required to execute your strategy, let's start by taking the basics out of the way. What is a resource and what are capabilities? Because you need to do a resource and capability analysis. That's the strategic execution part. So, a resource is a competitive asset that is owned or controlled by a company, whereas a capability or competence is the capacity of a firm or a company to perform some internal activity competently. So, meaning, a resource is what you need. For the strategy that you've developed, you're going to need resources. Do you have resources? Do you have assets that will make you stand out? Remember, when we're talking about competitive advantage, we said it has to be sustainable. So now we're asking the question of, as a company that you have, now that you have a store, do you have resources? And a resource is defined as a competitive asset that is owned or controlled by you. It could be how you think. It could be your brand. Do you have something that will add advantage to your strategy that will make you stand out? And capability, do you have competence? What capabilities do you have? What competencies do you have? And yet, when we talk about capability, we're talking about your capacity, the capacity of your business to perform some internal activity competently. Do you have the capability? Do you have staff, people that will help you execute? Do you have support? Do you have the energy? Do you have the time? Capabilities are developed and enabled through the deployment of companies' resources. So you can use the resources that you have to now formulate competency or to now unearth capabilities. If you have money, you can be able to buy some equipment that will give your company capacity to deliver, right? Because money is a resource. Your business requires varied, tangible and intangible resources to be in position to execute the formulated strategy. It's not only about funding, because most people think about funding whenever they think about the resources that they need. But it's not only about funding. Funding is just one of them. And your competitive advantage and the success of your strategy depends on not only the availability of these resources, but also how you manage them. Because you can have money, you can have funding, right? But the success of your business or the success of your strategy doesn't depend solely on you having money, but also it is about how well do you manage that money, how well do you manage the resources that you have. Because there are people who have resources, but because they don't know how to manage them, how to use them, they end up failing in business. There are people who can be funded millions, right, but end up failing because they don't know how to manage money. So let's get to know what these resources are, because like I said, funding, money is just one of the resources, but not the only resource that you need. So we have physical resources, which include land, manufacturing plants, equipment, and we have the financial resources, which include cash and cash equivalents, marketable securities, other financial assets such as your company's credit rating and borrowing capacity. I would like to touch something on the credit rating and borrowing capacity. For example, if you have a good credit rating as a company, it is easy for you to secure loans with banks or funders. So it's a resource, it's an asset. You need that. Other resources, we're talking about technological assets, which include your copyrights, patents, production technology, innovation technology, and your technological processes. Those are your resources. And we also have organizational resources, which include your IT and communication systems, planning, your coordination and control systems, your company's organizational design and reporting structure, right? And we have human assets and intellectual capital, which include the education, experience, knowledge, and talent of your workforce, which is your staff, employees, including yourself. The intellectual capital and the know-how of specialized teams and work groups. The knowledge of key personnel concerning important business functions, managerial talent, leadership skills, the creativity and innovativeness of certain personnel. So those are your assets. We're talking about human asset and intellectual capital. It could be a resource that can work to your advantage. And we also have, under resources, we have brands, company image, and reputational assets. Do you know, just by being well known, like I said in the previous episode, like if Nike right now decides to get into the mobile market, if Nike launches a new cell phone, people are going to buy that Nike cell phone. You know what? Because it is Nike, it's brand, it has a brand equity. People will follow Nike wherever it goes. True story. So if things like your brand name, trademarks, product or company image, buyer loyalty and goodwill, company reputation for quality, service and reliability, reputation with suppliers and partners for fair dealings, all those things, that are your resources. The fact that you've been in business for a very long time, or people know you, people vouch for you, that is a resource, that's an asset of your business. You need to leverage on that. Another resource is relationships. People neglect relationships. So if you are aligned, if you know people, you have networks, that's why it is important to invest in your networks, because those are your assets. So when it comes to relationships, we're looking at your alliances, your joint ventures, your partnerships that provide access to technologies. You need to have if you have a technological partner, the specialized know-how, your consulting strategy advisor, those are your assets. Those are the people that can help you execute. Those are the relationships that can help your business to be successful, right? We talk about the relationships where people can now give you access to geographic markets, network of dealers or distributors, and maybe a team of advisory board members, like people that advise you. And then the last resource is the company culture and incentive system. Here we're talking about the norms of behavior, the business principles, your guiding principles, how you do business, the ingrained beliefs within the company, the attachment of personnel to the company's ideals, the compensation system, and the motivation level of the company personnel. Those are your assets. If people in your company are not motivated to come to work, you're losing. It's not good. For some people, for the mere fact that your company is enthusiastic, they're looking forward, they are excited about the vision of the company, it is easy for them to execute. So it will work to your advantage. So you need to assess such things, such resources. That's why you call it a resource and capability analysis. Strategic execution focuses on solely that. Now that you know the varied typical resources that are key to strategy execution, looking at your strategy, do you have the right resources in place? If not, where will you get them? How will you acquire them? Oh, another resource I left out is time. Yes, time is a resource, an invaluable resource. You can't buy time, but you can in business. You can buy time in business. Most businesses failed and continue to fail because the business leaders do not have time. Building a business empire, or rather just building a sustainable business, requires time. And a startup business is like a baby. It needs close attention and it needs to be nurtured. If you dedicate only lunch breaks to your business and Saturdays, how would your business be successful? Sometimes the business didn't fail. You failed it. You as a business leader, you failed it. You as the founder, you failed your business because you were not committed. The consultants can only do so much. As consultants, as strategy advisors, we can only do so much. We can advise, we can help you formulate sound business strategies, but your business is your child. You have to be there for it. Though you hire nannies to help you out, we as the consultant can be the nannies that you hire, the helpers that you hire, but it is your child at the end of the day. You have to be there for it. You have to show up for your baby. I hope this series was helpful to you and that now you have a framework to get you started on the formulation of strategy for your business. And do drop your feedback, do engage me, and if you need help in revamping your mission statement, vision statements, and all those things, if you need clarity on our strategy planning process, do reach out in the comment section. Stay tuned for more.